Mark Latimer, dilettante piano player, and I'm here in my capacity to talk about our marvellous project, Imperfect Pearl, the life and times of Domenico Zipoli. So I'm actually quite good in the spoons. I did the 1812 overture on the washboard. That's about it, really. The piano. I think that was probably the day my agent told me I was too old to be a male model anymore. I had absolutely no aptitude for anything else on earth, so I picked something that I had slightly, maybe it's, I don't mean to sound pompous, but perhaps something that I had slightly more aptitude for. It was actually an odd confluence of all sorts of serendipitous things. We discovered the music completely by accident, because so little of it is extant in any way, shape or form. And such pieces that are available in print are really quite incomprehensibly tough to get hold of for all sorts of reasons. So we discovered this, and this led to us investigating the composer himself, who had such a bizarre and extraordinary life that it could have come out of a Stephen King book. I mean, so strange, eccentric even. I won't go dwell on this in too much detail because it would spoil. The show that we've put together is, if you like, it's part theatre, part opera, part concert, part singspiel, part all sorts of things. I was playing Rachmaninoff's Third Concerto, and there was a passage in it where all of a sudden I felt in my right hand that I had very, very limited sense of geography as to where I was. This was almost impossible to account for. I thought it was just a temporary thing, thought no more of it. Life went on. The little finger on my right hand eventually started to move inwards inexorably, and I thought, this can't be right. So I went to a succession of doctors, and it had then been misdiagnosed for, I think, 3-4 years at least, before the wife of a friend of mine is a literary agent, and somebody she had published was a very distinguished hand surgeon, Jeremy Field, and I went to see him, and within a matter of minutes he was able to diagnose this as Dupuytren, and it's very common. A lot of people thought it may have been directly related to the piano, playing the piano, whatever. It isn't, according to this fellow. It's as a direct result of Viking lineage, which was news to me. In 2010, I had really a remarkably good season ahead of me. I had a live Wigmore Hall BBC Radio 3 thing. I was supposed to go to the Hong Kong Festival for 5 appearances, I think, including the premiere of the Alcan Concerto. All sorts of things, and hugely lucrative. But I had to cancel them all because at one point, to my horror, I realized I could no longer stretch an octave, which is comparatively fundamental to playing anything. So to cut a long story short, Field had his knife in my glands, to use an old phrase, and it ameliorated somewhat. I mean, it was agonizingly trivial, but the little finger at least was comparatively straight. Since then, all the rest of both hands has become technically corrupted by this. And then last year I went to see a fellow in Guildford, I think he's American, called Schaffer, who has discovered that radiotherapy could ameliorate this. So I went 2 consecutive blocks of 5 days to the merrily entitled Cancer Partners in north of Birmingham somewhere, and had this treatment of 10 days. Obviously all these procedures are private, they're not anything connected to the NHS. So Help Musicians, as it is now called, as it was hitherto known, the Musicians Benevolent Fund, very kindly contributed immensely, immeasurably to the possibility of having this done. We kick off this tranche of dates at the Marvellous Newbury Spring Festival. Then we sort of zigzag erratically across the country, from Cheshire, Chester in particular, over to East Anglia, from East Anglia down to Cornwall, thence back to Wiltshire, and so on and so on and so forth.